Section 13 of Ads and Sales. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Ahimsa. Ads and Sales, a study of advertising and selling from the standpoint of the new principles of scientific management. By Herbert Newton Casson. Chapter 13. The Future of Advertising. There will be more advertisements in the future, not fewer, and they will be better, not worse. 5 years ago, we thought that the consolidation of industries would greatly decrease the quantity of advertising. We believed that advertising was based wholly on competition, and most of the big consolidations thought so too. But the events of the last few years have made us more confident as to the future of advertising. We see now that it is not based on competition. We see now that even if every industry evolves into a monopoly, the monopolies will still have to advertise to retain the confidence and goodwill of the public. Our big businessmen have recently discovered a very startling fact. They have found that while a little corporation may advertise, a large corporation must. As soon as any corporation masters its competitors and controls its output, the public is afraid of it. All the irresponsible writers and talkers in the country begin at once to abuse and torment it. To save its life, it has to be sociable and friendly. Like the big elephants in the zoo, it has to eat peanuts and do tricks to show everybody that it has no enmity to the human race. As well might a colony of ants build their nest in a public roadway and expect to prosper, as for a corporation to hope to monopolize a public necessity and yet remain dumb and mysterious about its policies. As compared with a nation, the biggest corporation is no more than an ant's nest. Even the Standard Oil Company has only 1/200th part of our national wealth. And just as Thomas Jefferson destroyed American shipping, just as Andrew Jackson destroyed the United States Bank, so the political leaders of our day will destroy any corporation that has brought upon itself the special hatred of the public. Most of the big corporations very likely have learned their lesson. They will advertise, and what is more, they will, by their great wealth and their spirit of efficiency, improve the quality of advertising. They will give experts a chance to do the best that can be done. There will no longer be any limit to the quality of an advertisement, except the limit of human skill. Already the Equitable Life Assurance Company has begun the habit of printing, as an advertisement in national magazines, its annual report. Other corporations will follow suit, now that many of them have more than 25,000 shareholders. A Western senator, too, recently secured his own election to Congress by a campaign of self-advertisement. This is a significant straw to show us which way the advertising wind is blowing. Now that political machines have grown to be unpopular, every candidate for office is being compelled to make his appeal directly to the voters, as there is no way to do this so effectively as by advertising. As to whether this political advertising will do more harm than good is another matter. The gain in quantity will probably be more than offset by the loss in quality, as the standards of the office holder are invariably lower than those of the manufacturer and the merchant. There will be more advertising by cities. The surprising results that Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas, Des Moines, Memphis, and other cities have secured through advertising are stirring up imitators. These pioneer cities have learned that a series of advertisements displaying their local advantages is not only effective in attracting new people, but also in spurring up and harmonizing their own citizens. The various states, too, will probably begin to advertise. Iowa and Florida, for example, would be greatly benefited by a campaign of self-advertising. Iowa needs publicity just at this time because it is the only state that has lost in population, and Florida needs publicity because it is the least known and most misunderstood state in the Union. As for international advertising, we have scarcely begun to think of it. But we make fully $400 million in profits on our foreign trade, which is a good beginning. No doubt, if we spend 2 weeks' profit every year on world advertising, we could make much more. What we sell to foreign nations at present is the fruit of the soil, not the product of the factory. Only 2% of our manufactured goods are sold abroad. The great factories of the eastern seaboard are closer to Europe than they are to Texas, and reciprocal trade is now the ideal of all progressive nations. We may therefore expect to see a vast expansion of foreign commerce, with the advertising expert preparing the way. Some sort of advertisements are now known in all parts of the world. There are advertising boards at the very gates of the Emperor's Palace, both in Berlin and in Vienna. Even in Tokyo, at the doors of the temples, the towels that hang at the sacred fountains have advertisements printed upon each end. And there is no doubt that as the outside markets gradually open to American goods, our advertising men will be able to stimulate trade and raise the standard of living in foreign nations, just as they have done at home. Bear in mind that there was not even a national market for American goods until 25 years ago. There was no transcontinental railroad until 1869. There was no national magazine of large circulation until a dozen years ago. Who then can tell what will be accomplished in international commerce by the time that your baby boy, now lying in the cradle, shall have become a voter? In the United States, advertising has already evolved from chance to system, and it is about to evolve from system to efficiency. It has developed from noise to sense, and from humbug to sincerity. Not many years ago, the motto of the advertising world was that cynical jester Vedas: "There is nothing that you may not get people to believe if you will only tell it to them loud enough and often enough." This year, the best applauded motto at the annual convention of ad men was "Tell the truth." There are some advertising experts who say that the master word of the future is strategy. Possibly they may be right, but strategy must mean something more than a circumvention of the public. The very word strategy has a flavor of trickery and war. It means that you have got the better of someone by superior smartness, and so it is not as appropriate an ideal as efficiency in a nation that is shifting from competition to cooperation. Whether we call it strategy or efficiency matters little, but the thing we want in the advertising of the future is a better way to do what we are doing now. When Howe put the eye of the needle in the point of the needle, he found a better way. When McCormick hitched a team of horses to a reciprocating scythe, he found a better way. When Mergenthaler created a machine by means of which type can be made instead of set, he found a better way. When Westinghouse used air instead of iron chains to operate the brakes of railroad trains, he found a better way. And so, in the advertising world, what we may expect in the near future is a period of inventiveness, better ways of doing the same old things. That is the motive of the future. There are once in a while big business facts that must be expressed in some novel and striking way. For instance, the New York Telephone Company began in 1910 a lavish campaign of improvement in the city of Buffalo and wanted to let the Buffalonians know what it was doing in some way so that everybody would really take notice. I happened to be called in as an expert and suggested that for the next 6 weeks, all payments should be made in new money. The company was paying out at that time more than $4,000 a day. This amount, put out for 6 weeks, would compel everyone in the city to notice the new money, and I had it paid out in small bills so that it would travel faster. In making change, the company also paid out new silver and fresh crisp bills so that at the end of 6 weeks, fully $200,000 had been put in circulation. The new money was everywhere. It was very conspicuous for the reason that there is very little money in actual circulation in any city. There is less than $40 per capita in the nation, and 9/10 of it is locked up. Then, when the people of Buffalo were ripe and ready for an explanation, I flashed a bulletin in the 6 daily papers of the city. Have you noticed the new money? The effect was electrical. The whole city, from newsboys to bankers, got the idea, and none were offended at the way in which it had been told to them. This strategy, as it may fairly be called, shows what may be done and done for very little cost if only a better way of conveying the idea can be invented. The advertisements of the future will not be so monotonous. There is no good reason why they should be. There is no reason why an advertiser should perpetually tootle on 2 or 3 notes as though he were playing the bagpipes. There is no reason why shop talk must be the official language of the advertising agencies. The business world is sparkling with romance and adventure. There is nothing wonderful in the fairy tales of Arabia that cannot be equaled in any department store. Talk about a camel going through the eye of a needle. Even if it could, that would be no more wonderful than the miracle of sending a whole grand opera through the point of a needle. Hans Christian Andersen made several generations laugh at the imaginary talk of a little tin soldier. But how much more wonderful is the little tin disc in your telephone, which can really talk, which can talk all languages, and when you use it for an ear, can hear another voice that is 1,500 miles away. The field of advertising is as comprehensive as the field of human nature. There is scarcely any limit to the raw materials of advertising, and the sellers of the future will take advantage of this. Already, the playwrights and novelists and short story writers have discovered these raw materials, but the writers of advertisements have not. They have stood dumb and indifferent while mere entertainers filched away the choicest facts. This abnormal condition of things will not probably continue, and we will not always be compelled to admit that there is no advertisement of automobiles that is as interesting as the Williamson novels, no advertisement of lumber as powerful as the stories of Stuart Edward White, and no advertisement of a piano as gripping as Belasco's Music Master. When Wilhelm Ostwald, the most eminent of German chemists, paid a visit to the United States several years ago, I asked him what was his attitude towards the future of chemistry. He replied, "My attitude is just this. If I should hear tomorrow morning that some chemist has created a living thing, I will not be surprised." It was a noble answer, but not too noble to apply also to the future of the advertising profession. Here too, there will be great inventions and discoveries. We may not be able to create life or to make 2 blades of grass grow where one grew before, but we can revivify dead industries and make $1 do what 2 did before. No matter how great the advertising problems of the future may be, no matter if they call for the pen of a Kipling, the heart of a Dickens, and the brain of a Harriman, somebody somewhere will rise to meet them, and when they are met, none of us will be surprised. End of section 13.